Hello everybody, welcome back to another video with Lim Reviews. Now in today's video, I'm super excited to share with you a device that I personally think is a proper flagship killer. Now the device that I'm talking about here is actually the Realme GT Neo 2 that I have here, and I've been using this device here for the past 2 weeks now, and I think this is actually a very solid device. Now before I begin, this device here is going to land here in Malaysia on November the 3rd, and I know in other countries you guys probably already have it. In terms of the pricing though, here is going to retail for RM1999, and that is slightly below $500 for all of my friends in other regions. But the best part here is that you do get 12 gigabytes of RAM and 256 gigabytes of internal memory. So very solid stuff here by Realme. Now, why am I calling this a flagship killer? I mean, there are so many phones that are being launched today, but if you just take a look at the spec sheet of this GT Neo 2 here, you will see a lot of components that actually make this very strong. So first up, right off the bat, I'm going to tell you that it has a Snapdragon 870, it comes with a high refresh rate display, you also have a decent set of cameras, a very large battery, fast charging, good RAM, good internal memory, and a lot of good stuff here to share about this Realme GT Neo 2. So without further ado, we're just going to jump into the video here and talk a little bit about my experience after using the Realme GT Neo 2 here for the past 2 weeks, guys. So before I begin, of course, it will help out a lot if you could just drop a like on the video to support the channel. Alright, let's just start off with the first point straight off, and it is about the design. Now, as you can see here, the design of the Realme GT Neo 2 is a very sporty kind of design. Yes, it does look like a few kind of sports cars in my mind here. I can think of the BMW M4, the Mercedes GT something, but if you guys know your cars, you would definitely recognize that this looks very similar to some sport cars. Now, obviously, if you don't like this design, you can go for the more subdued version. They are coming in different colors, which actually looks more plain or more plain vanilla, so to speak. So you have that options out there, guys. Now, in terms of the build quality, guys, it feels very solid here. We have this back glass back panel here that feels very smooth to the touch. You also have these plastic panels here, which does not feel super great. But overall, I found that this device here is built very nicely. There's no gaps in between, and it feels very sturdy as well. Now on the sides, we do have all this in the blacked out kind of aluminum kind of feel. Again, very solid stuff here. One thing I did notice missing here was the headphone jack, but you do get dual stereo speakers that sound pretty loud here. So I think it is a hit and miss, but we are compensated with that dual stereo speakers. Alright, so that's just in terms of the design. Overall, weight-wise, it is slightly heavy at 200 grams, but I think it is manageable over the long term. So that's just the design. Let's talk a bit more about the display next. So if you just flip the device to the front here, you can see that we have a very beautiful display. Now, size-wise, this is a 6.62-inch 1080p E4 AMOLED display that is refreshed at 120 Hz, and you have a crazy touch sampling rate of 600 Hz, guys. Okay, so those are just numbers, but how does it feel to actually use the display on this device? Well, honestly speaking, I realized that the display here is actually very saturated. It is slightly too saturated for my liking, and yes, I know that I can tweak it in the settings, but unfortunately, I wasn't able to get the sweet spot. No matter how I tweak the display, it is always just a bit too saturated in my personal opinion. Apart from that, one good thing that I realized about this display here is that it's able to go all the way up to 1300 nits of brightness, and that makes it very bright, especially even if you are outdoors. So those of you guys out there who like to be outdoors, this phone will be visible under the strong sunlight. So that's just in terms of the display. Overall, in terms of the smoothness levels, this is a buttery smooth device, guys. Everything just responds to your touch instantly with the 600 Hz touch response rate, so you can rely on this display here to be very smooth all of the time, especially if you turn on the 120 Hz throughout the entire day. Alright guys, so now done with the display, let's talk a little bit about the performance itself. Now, apart from having a Snapdragon 870 in the back here, we also get a very large cooling system. According to Realme, this is their largest ever kind of vapor cooling chamber, so you can expect heat to be dissipated at a very efficient level. But apart from that, one thing that you do not actually see here is the RAM itself. Now, I may mention to you that the RAM itself is 12 gigabytes, but what you need to know here is that this is LPDDR5. That makes it one of the best RAMs that you can get on a device. Apart from that, the storage itself is UFS 3.1, so you have fast storage, fast RAM, and that makes everything on the device here operate on a very fast level. Now, in terms of gaming, I tend to play Mobile Legends all the time here, and I always put it at the maximum ultra graphics settings. Now, what I did notice here is that even after playing for more than 1 hour, yes, I know I shouldn't be playing that long, but I realized that the back here was not as warm as on other devices. Now, I did take a temperature gun and check it on the back here, and I found that the temperatures hovers about 38 to 39 degrees Celsius, so it's always keeping things cool, and that helps with the throttling of the processor itself. So if you are a gamer and you want those proper kind of frame rates, I definitely recommend you to check out the Realme GT Neo 2 here because of that cooling system. Now, obviously, if you're just using this phone on the daily basis, with it being so powerful, you do not have to worry about day-to-day processors. App launches very quickly, there is no lags, no delays whatsoever, and everything just runs very smooth on the GT Neo 2 right here. So that's just in terms of the performance, guys. I'm going to show you a very quick benchmark score here so you can have a brief idea on how capable this device is. Now, done with the performance, let's talk very quickly about the cameras that we do have on the back here. So the Realme GT Neo 2 here has a triple camera setup. It is led by a 64 megapixel main sensor. You also have an 8 megapixel ultra wide, and last but not least, you have a 2 megapixel macro lens that, seriously speaking, I don't think anyone uses at all. Alright, so in terms of picture quality, that's the most important. Numbers are numbers, but picture quality really depends on the phone's software itself. So how is it like in daylight? Well, obviously, let me show you guys a couple of shots here. Pictures taken during the day were awesome. They look great. They have good colors here. If you want a more colorful approach, you can always turn on the AI mode. But if you want a more realistic approach, just turn off AI mode and everything will work flawlessly. Now, in terms of the night mode, guys, this is where the Realme GT Neo 2 really shines. So you can see through these couple of photos here that it took amazing shots during the night. Even when the scenes are not bright enough, we are able to get very solid photos here that actually looks very good for sharing on social media. So I definitely have to applaud Realme here for giving us these really good night photos that we can take on the Realme GT Neo 2. Now, done with the cameras right here, let's talk very quickly about the haptics because that is something that I always try to cover on my reviews here. Good news, guys, the Realme GT Neo 2 here comes with the best X-axis haptic engine. Now, what this means is that you have those really nice short and crisp kind of vibration feedback. Haptics are great, so you will definitely enjoy the user experience on this device right here. Now, last but not least, let's talk a little bit about the battery in the back. Now, take a look at this device here. You might notice that the GT Neo 2 is quite a slim device, but it packs a 5000 mAh battery in the back here. And the best part is that what came in the box was this 65-watt super dart fast charger that is able to charge this device from 0 to 100% in slightly more than half an hour, guys. It is really that quick. I've been testing it out and it has never failed me so far. So very good, decent battery life here, and fast charging to boot makes this a perfect device here to last you throughout the entire day. Alright guys, so now bottom line is, I definitely think this is a proper flagship killer. So let's go through a couple of points once again. We do have the Snapdragon 870, we have a 64 megapixel sensor, we also have that large battery with fast charging, UFS 3.1 storage, you have 256 gigabytes of internal memory right off the bat. Apart from that, you also have the fast RAM, which is LPDDR5, an X-axis haptics engine, and pretty much a very good build quality with this device over here. So that's definitely a lot of points here, and you get all of this for just RM1999, again, which is less than $500 today. So this is very, very interesting here for the Realme GT Neo 2. Again, if you guys are looking for a brand new phone, it doesn't matter if you want to use it for your gaming or just day-to-day use, I strongly actually recommend the Realme GT Neo 2 here because it is a very solid device and you will definitely be satisfied with the performance that you can get from this device right here. Alright guys, that's it for this video. I know it's slightly longer than usual, but I do hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like it if you like the channel, or sub to the channel if you want to see more content like this, and I hope to see all of you guys in the next one. Stay safe everybody. Bye!